Happy Wednesday, everybody. Come on in. We'll be getting started shortly. Make sure you like the stream as you're coming through, coming in. Drop a comment, say hello. Gonna be going over the 3-day setups, leading us into New York session here on Wednesday. Howdy to you. Got some big things to talk about as far as news this week and how that could affect trades in general and templates. And how it might just be better to be patient. Or maybe it's not. We're going to chat about it here in just a second. I think it's about time we get started though, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Interesting choice of music. Yeah, this is my music. I'm a big bluegrass fan. And it's lively, you know, it gets you going in the morning. But anyways, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for informational holy cow. Provided for education, informational purposes only without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free, pause the stream, read through this. That way you know I'm not a financial advisor. This is not advice. Good stuff. All right, I wanted to start this stream off and talk about the news schedule a little bit. I'm going to try and get this a little bit bigger for you all. It doesn't get bigger. I see. Okay. Can you all see this okay? Can you hear me okay? Toss a 1 up there if you can see this. If not, I'm going to try and get bigger. I wonder if I can do... Oh, I can. There it is. Cool. All right. We're going to be... let's take a look at this. What do we got this week as far as news? Because this is possibly going to really affect the templates. You know, looking at the different types of trades that we want to take and trying to time these opportunities. You know, sometimes you need to look and see, maybe I should be waiting till the backside of the week. You know, we're in the front half now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. At the completion of today, we're going to start a new 3-day template. Maybe it's best to wait until we get past all this news to see what template shows up towards the end of the week. That absolutely could be a thesis or something to think about, at least to keep in the back of my mind. So let's take a look at what news we've got. Yesterday, number one, I didn't take any trades yesterday because of this right here. The fact that we have him testifying or whatever, and I did watch the market, but I didn't take anything. And the moment I saw 10 o'clock start whipping back and forth on a lot of things, I was like, man, I just don't really see what I want to see, so I'm just going to be done. And then also I know that when we get things like this, there's a lot of volatility that, you know, you start getting whipped back and forth, and that's obviously what I'm trying to avoid. So now coming into today, what do we've got? We've got the CPI at 830, which obviously could be an opportunity depending on, you know, if it confirms a template of some kind or anything like that. But then we've got him testifying again at 10 o'clock. So, you know, it's kind of, we got early news and late news. I really don't like trading these types of days when you've got early news, then late news. And they're both major events, because a lot of times this is going to turn into, it blows off and then maybe it just goes right back into consolidation, and then they start doing one of these and then they hold you in a range until 10 and then they start whip. It's horrible. All right. A lot of times. Now, I'm not saying every single time, But in the past, that's what I've observed, and that's kind of what I try to keep in the back of my mind and avoid. And then tomorrow, we've got some news on other pairs and things, but for the U.S., looking at, we got PPI, 8:30, and then we don't have any late news on Thursday. So maybe coming into the back half of the week, things could be looking up. And then on Friday, 8:30 news, nothing late. So now we've got a 3-day template maybe lining up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where the news schedule is a little bit better. However, I still want to be aware of what setups I might be looking for today, because just because the news schedule is like this doesn't mean 100% of the time we're not going to get something. So let's go through and take a look and see what kind of templates or things may or may not be setting up now on some pairs. I'm going to go to a 1-hour chart. I'm going to start with the NASDAQ as always. And if you all want to start tossing some pairs in there that you would like me to review and look at, I've already got some notes up here, which I'm going to remove. We're going to start over for the sake of actually making this an informational stream. So hopefully you all can, as I'm putting the notes up there, you're kind of following along and hopefully putting your own notes up there, or you already have notes up there, and that's how you're following along. So hopefully you can follow my thought process as I'm going through this. I'm going to try and go as slow as possible. On Friday, this is the NASDAQ 1-hour chart. You can use a 15. It doesn't matter. On Friday, we had an outside day and a first red day. Okay, outside, first red. Which tells us to look for a sell high opportunity, or potentially looking for a sell high opportunity on Monday. Now, on Monday, now remember, on these breakout days, I always project this level across. This is going to come in really important when I go to US 30 and we start talking about that. So we got Friday outside, first red, breakout day one to the downside, which could also potentially mean to look for a sell high opportunity. And also, I need to think in the back of my head, hey, the market is only going to do 3 things, which is why I've got the breakout level projected across. Now we come into Monday. They gap down. They trigger the previous day's low. Does anybody remember or know the moment I see we've been going up, we break out to the downside, we trigger previous day's low. Now we're at the beginning of a week, but we trigger previous day's low. What could this be a signal for? Everybody please start screaming it from the rooftops, from the rafters in the chat. What triggering this level? What could that indicate on the day that maybe I need to look for, especially in these conditions? All right, y'all are typing. You got a few seconds delay, so hopefully by the time I say it, you've already typed it out. When they trigger previous day's low, down moving market, we might be looking for a pump back up and then a dump back down. Okay. All of these details that I'm listing out right now, kind of catalog them in your head, because it's going to be important on the next pair. Breakout day one, first red, triggers previous day's low at the beginning of a week. Maybe looking for 3 levels of rise for the trend trade continuation back down to the low or through the low. That doesn't happen. Let's take a look at the timing of this. 6, 7, 8, we get an engulfment to the upside. We get a pin hammer, 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then 10 o'clock continuation towards the upside. Let's take a look at the 9:25 candle. On Monday was over yonder. Okay, notice also on the day, the market just keeps making higher highs and higher lows, never makes a lower low. And then the timing of things. Okay, we get the peak formation high put in place, 9:10. Pause, 9:20, pause, 9:30. So notice these bars down here, we've already kind of started pulling back, essentially, right? It's just a pullback, 9:30, 9:25, and then we get the engulfment at 9:35. So this seems to be more of a trending template. We have no lower low. We're just making higher highs and higher lows. We pulled back to the 20 EMA and engulfed at 9:35. You know, if we would have had a lower low, or maybe this template looked a little different, the timing, maybe I could have had a setup on this one. Now, let's go and focus on today. You know, what details have led us into today? Outside first red, triggers previous day's low on Monday, so not a signal or anything like that, but Then we have the inside day over here. Okay, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is an inside day. So now we're looking at the 3-day template leading us into today. All right, so that's our levels. We've got the previous day's high, the previous day's low. Now, after an inside day, I'm going to look for 3 stair steps to the high or the low. In this case, it looks like maybe we're stair stepping, or we could be stair stepping to the high. Right now, it doesn't really look like that. Let's see here. Very clean chart. I want to see them hit this level, and I want to see what time they hit this level. Remember, the market is only going to do 3 things: trend, reverse, trading range. Right now, we're in a trading range. We're on the inside of the inside. I want to see them hit that high at a certain time of day and break down. That would be my reversal template. If I come to the screen, and usually this would have probably already happened, but if I come to the screen, they've broken out and they're pulling back, and then I get a continuation, low-hanging fruit maybe, or a range expansion of the inside bar to the upside, that is another thing that I would be looking for based off the fact that we have a signal. And I just have to wait for one of those things to take place, or neither of them to take place, letting me know to do nothing. Or maybe there's another template that I like more, which is a high probability right now. So notice these the projections of these breakout levels is extremely important. So something that I really like, Stacey, I've heard him say this way back when, was, train your eyes to look horizontally and project things horizontally. I love that. This really helps. And hopefully it helps you as well. Okay, let's go on to US 30. Now, US 30 is a little bit different. I got a trade on this on Monday, and this is why I've been kind of talking about. This is it was important to me to point out those details. So we got a first red day on Thursday, a slight difference in the template. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, first red. Friday, good first red day trade, 3 peaks, engulfment to the downside. I don't know what time this was. 10 o'clock, good. Then this turns into breakout day 1. Okay, market only does 3 things. I project that level across. On the next day, I might be looking for 3 levels of rise. I might be looking for sell high opportunity, sell the high of the day, sell the high of the session, something like that if it presents in my session. So we trigger the previous day's low, similar to the NASDAQ, which tells me, hey, I could be looking for a pump back up to the high and then a dump. So in combination with these other details, possibly looking pretty good. So if you've cataloged those things that I talked about and remember the timing, I just want to point out how they come out of consolidation leading into the session. So this is a consolidation, a high and a low. All right, we have a high and a low. Everything on the inside of a high and a low is consolidation. And the market moves in 3s. This is why I keep repeating that same thing over and over again, because the market sits in consolidation, and depending on how they come out of that consolidation could be an indication or a leading indicator that a setup may be occurring. We get peak 1, and then a run into peak 2, and then a run into peak 3. Now, all that's great. That's pretty subjective. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be peak 3 until, everything starts lining up coming into the session and into the setup. And this is 9:30 right here. Okay, so we get this big run to the high, peak formation high being put in place at 9:30. Engulfment, perfectly timed. And then we get the run back down. So that gives you a perfect opportunity to enter. We've got ramped volume back up into the breakout level for the breakout pullback setup. So this is breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback setup. All right, we've triggered the previous day's low, indicating possible pump for a dump. I think this is 100% perfect. I loaded the boat, and then obviously we got the follow through back down. The ramp volume into the high is just an indication that they could go back down twice as fast as they went up. And it was nice to see that actually follow through the way that it did. Good. Okay, that doesn't help us anything with today, but I just wanted to point this out and show you all this. If you saw it on Discord, great. If not, then this explanation hopefully helped somebody. Okay, previous day's low being broken at the low of the current week, day 1 of the cycle. Day 2 of the cycle, also day 2 of the week. We get breakout day 1, so now I'm thinking about weekly templates, okay? Breakout day 1 to the downside. or the upside, excuse me. Holy cow. Always projecting that level across. Maybe I'm looking at a breakout pullback template. And now I'm going to look at on the day. So for on the day, what I would like to see typically is going to be Asia or London having made a higher high. And then we pull back into the New York session, and then I get a New York session trade. Now, that being said, I could still get a higher high, and maybe it's a 3-session or a 3-hour setup instead of a 3-session setup. So like right now, we have a high. They've pulled back, not really far enough though, unfortunately. So this is a high, and then we've got the low of the day is pretty much the low, but no higher high. So what do I'm kind of talking about? Let's go and I'm gonna throw up. Can we get the sessions up there? We can. Very nice. So like Asia, a lot of times what you'll see, breakout day one, an opening range breakout, Asia or London. Maybe they'll trigger the previous day's high, and similar to the NASDAQ or US 30 like we just talked about, a lot of times that could be an indication for a dump for a pump, all right? Especially in an up-moving market, we get breakout day one, an opening range breakout. Asia or London makes a higher high. London pulls back. New York is the trade. We go vertical back up through the high, low-hanging fruit, trend trade back up through the high, coming off the low of the day. Something along those lines. Or maybe Asia makes a higher high. We start pulling back. Maybe London starts to make a higher high, and then we pull back for New York, and then New York is the trade that actually goes vertical back up through the high of the day. I think we just saw one of those last week. Don't take my word for this. Go and find these templates, all right? Breakout day one, opening range breakouts on a Tuesday. Look for Asia or London to make a higher high. Pulls back into the New York session for a New York session trade. That's the template that I personally look for. Now, on the day itself today, looking at how things are setting up, I don't think I just clicked the right thing. I did click the right thing. Nice. We've got no higher high necessarily. That's not really happening as of yet. The new schedule may affect that. Or, realistically, another thing, if you remember that tips and tricks slide, another thing that I would have looked for the reversal setup coming off of the high of the week, which is also a playbook opportunity. We get breakout day one. We're at the high of the week. Maybe we get Asia or London making a lower low. So in this case, that would have been like, for me personally, and how I view and look at structure, we would have had Asia or London making a lower low and then pulling back into the New York session for the reversal trade coming off of the high of the week, or a pump for a dump. And of course, this can go in either way. If we were broken out to the downside, I could be looking for the same thing in reverse. So that tips and tricks slide, if you remember, high probability of Wednesday trend continuation. Those are all just words, but everything that I just said is talking about that. Unless Wednesday's breakout or Tuesday's breakout fails on Wednesday, which is the other part that I just talked about, the reversal, if that were to present. And right now, I don't see either of those. I just see a high and a low. And really, you can go to a 15 and see this even better. We've just kind of got a high and a low. And we're just sitting on the inside of that. Oh, no. And yes, we are broken out to the upside, so maybe this is going to go vertical to the upside. But part of my identification of whether or not I actually have a trade or not, and call it criteria or rules for the setup, I just don't have that. So I think I'm going to, again, try and go find maybe something better. You might even consider this a first green day. We've got the large dumping day. And then we have the breakout day one, first green day. Maybe this is a higher high and this was the dump for the pump. Any of those theses I think could probably be correct. I just don't know if I feel comfortable with the current pattern. All right, is that making sense for everybody? Is everybody give me a little thumbs up if it is. If not, please let me know and I'll try to make it more clear for you. That's the whole reason I'm doing these live streams, is to hopefully make the patterns more clear and hopefully build some confidence in what to look for. Building confidence in what to look for is going to be the developer of patience. If you know what to look for, you can be patient. Clear, good. Euro pound later, absolutely. If I ask later on because I have forgot, please remind me. I'm only focused on. Okay. Let's go to oil. Let's see if we can find something better. And admittedly, I don't know if there is something better, but we're going to search for it. Let's see. Let's go back. We'll take a look. All right. Friday of last week was potentially a first green day and also that inside day. Okay. Telling me to look for a buy low opportunity, buy the low of the day, buy the low of the session. Maybe they trigger previous day's high so I can look for a dump and a pump. Any of those things. If that template were to set up properly, I can take that trade. Now, they do trigger previous day's high in the Asian session. And in the second hour of the London session, they go vertical. Now, obviously, I don't trade London. However, for those of you that do, maybe this was an opportunity that some of you took. First green day, dump and pump, 3 pushes back into the low of the day or pretty close to it. Engulfment, continuation. Actually, this is coming into the third hour of London. Let's look at this on a 5-minute chart. Hopefully, maybe the pattern was a little bit more clear. The break of the high is the peak formation high being put in place, the higher high, essentially. And then pulling back into the London session. Let's see, we've got gap time, peak 1, and maybe a 3 push pattern coming into the London session here. They just keep spiking into the low, big bars, and not going anywhere. That's kind of a good indication. But with this pattern, I think I would have, like personally, if I was going to trade this, I would have waited for this higher high and a pullback and an engulfment, which puts us out of the timing window. So me personally, this is the bar that I would have had to take, and this is out of the session window. So maybe not. Okay, first green inside. Now, we get a breakout of that inside bar and a trend continuation throughout the day, which could indicate a range expansion of that inside bar towards the upside, which it looks like one full expansion. After the course or over the course of 2 days, we get the second full expansion. But on the day itself, that's the data that I would have been most interested with. Anyways, so now we've been going down, market go down. I like using silly caveman terms, right? Because it makes it simple. Market go down, market breakout to the upside, breakout day 1, which tells me to look for a possible dump and a pump on the next day. And again, we repeat the same exact behavior. Triggers previous day's high, giving us the higher high, dumps back down into the low of the day. And we get the trend continuation again on Tuesday, which is now turned into and continued to evolve the template, of course, into a opening range breakout to the upside. Now, I need to also be aware, breakout day 1, breakout day 2, so I don't have 3 days of breakouts just yet. Let's continue. Breakout day 1. Or breakout day 2, excuse me. Opening range breakout to the upside. That leads us into today. We have a breakout of the opening range. I project that level across. Possible breakout pullback. Let's take a look at on the day. Okay. We were making higher highs and higher lows, and I think this is going to be, I need to look at this just to give you all an accurate representation of how I would have viewed this as structure. They broke the high, but they did not pull back appropriately because this is a 1 bar. Holy cow. There we go. This is a 1 bar range consolidation. They did not pull back significantly enough for me to count this. If they would have broke out below this bar, 1 or 2 bars lower, I could have counted that as a high, but it did not do that. So I don't count that as a high. But they continued to go higher. They pulled back in 1 bar. They pulled back in 2 bars. So this would have been my high. The break of that high would have confirmed this as a low. So they broke this low and made a lower low. All right, so this is my higher high. This is my lower low, essentially creating my box. And then on the day, now, we've been making lower lows and lower highs leading into the session. Let's go and take a look and see. We got this breakout bar here. Went a little bit above. Broke down a little bit lower. So I'm going to use this as a swing high. This is good. Okay. So what am I doing right now? I'm essentially setting this up for, identifying the details that I would need to see in order for me to possibly have a setup. We're making lower lows and lower highs right now. Do I want to go long on a breakout day 2, making lower lows and lower highs? It's an opening range breakout template, essentially. Or do I maybe want to position myself in a way or that I could look for, hey, there's my lower high. If they make a higher high and I get 3 pushes back down into the low, possibly the low of the day, maybe I can take the trend trade back towards the high of the week. That would be a thesis. We've dumped it down. Let's see how far we've dumped it down from previous day's high. 75 pips would be 3 levels of 25. That's kind of small for oil. We get 150. Almost. Just about 150, but we've triggered previous day's low. So let's talk about thesis. Number 1, we're making lower lows and lower highs on the day. We've triggered previous day's low, which you have all already told me could indicate a pump for a dump. Push 1, push 2, push 3, back up. Maybe we're going to continue the dump. We come into Wednesday, opening range breakout, making lower lows and lower highs on the day. Reversal trade, coming off the high of the week, maybe back down towards the low of the week. Possible thesis. Thesis number 2, we make a higher high, which has not happened yet. We get 3 push pullback, first consolidation, in line with the opening range breakout, which would be the larger, higher time frame thesis, back towards the high of the week, trend trade. The only 2 things that could happen, the market only does 3 things, and that is what I am going with on this. Admittedly, I feel like the thesis is a little bit more clear here on oil than the other 2 indexes right now. I don't really know what to do with this. I feel like I'm guessing direction a little bit, and the same kind of goes for this. Not really 100% sure. Inside, we're double inside right now. I kind of want to wait for them to trigger the high. If they trigger the high, I might have a better thesis in place. But with oil, I'm going into the session with a better understanding of what to look for, and therefore it's going to go up higher on my list. A little bit about, pair selection. Let's go on to gold. Let's take a look at what gold's doing. I'll go to a 1-hour chart for simplicity. We could take a look at last week. Gold has been unstoppable. It just keeps going. And this is actually a really good example of why I'm so adamant about looking for reversals. And then you just keep on trying. For example, if you just kept on trying to trade this thing short just because it's going higher, you're just getting wrecked over and over again when the trend trade was the obvious better play, or just do nothing. Breakout week 1, breakout week 2, breakout week 3, breakout week 4, breakout week 5, breakout week 6, breakout week 7. We've been going up. Okay, so we can just establish that. We've been going up. Now, coming into the current week, what has happened? Lots of weeks or days of breakouts. Looks like we got a little reset over here. And then they triggered the high. So this is that 3-day rectangle that I was pointing out coming into the new week. I'm going to skip these ads for you all so you don't have to watch that stuff. This is that 3-day rectangle. No, it did not happen on Monday, Tuesday, coming into Wednesday. But remember, the templates can happen throughout the week. It doesn't matter necessarily. So Thursday, Friday, Monday was the template. And I know that someone in Discord, Yanni, he took this trade going long in the Asian session, which is fantastic. Peak formation low, peak formation high. They triggered the high in an up-moving market. Dump for a pump. Little to no overlap in the bars could be a signal of a trend, a parabolic trend continuation. And that's what happens. So good stuff. Now, opening range for the week. We get the breakout day, opening range. Then we have a failed breakout day on Tuesday, which also looks to be a first red day. They attempted to make highs in the morning. They made their lows in the afternoon, closing near their lows and turning into a first red, closing below the opening price for the day. Now, what I really want to talk about right now is the fact that surely there's been more first red days way back here. But I just told you, we're 6 or 7 weeks of breakout in. We've triggered previous week's high. We're in breakout. They attempted to go above previous day's high here and failed on a Tuesday, giving us a first red. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday template. This is a first red day and day one of the cycle. Now let's take a look at what is happening today. First red day is going to be my indication to look for a sell high opportunity if it were to present in my session. Coming into the New York session, it looks like they trigger the previous day's low, which could be an indication for, pump and a dump. Okay, we're making lower lows and lower highs on the day. Also good. They pump it back up. Peak 1, push 1. Peak 2, push 2. Peak 3, push 3. Don't know that. That's very subjective until I get my engulfment. And they also take out and create trap volume. If I bought any of these bars at the close or maybe a break above, I am now caught in the first 5 minutes of the New York session. And then we make a lower low and a pullback. And then now coming into the news, it looks like maybe we're gone a little bit vertical to the downside. Could this change? Yeah. So now we're making lower lows and lower highs. I've got a lower low. The break to go lower is going to give me a lower high. We've continued to make lower lows and lower highs. If we break down and pull back, the market only does three things. Maybe up to this level for a high of session sell, I may be able to take this trade. However, having triggered previous day's low and gone a little bit vertical, I want to be very careful with this, but that's going to be my thesis. Break down, pull back, continuation, 9:30, 10 o'clock. News schedule. What do we got for today? Yeah, that might be a problem. They might move the market early in the session to prep for all the nonsense later in the session. So this might be a wash. I don't know. But based off the template, now I have all the information, and all of you do as well. Essentially, what this would be is I would project this level across and say, okay, this was the low of the current week, pumped it up, broke it down, and then returned back to the low of the week or back to that level. Once this level gets hit, my thesis is complete and I no longer look for that trade. However, if we do get the pump up previous to that level or prior to that level being hit, I may get a trade off that. Am I going too fast? Is this making sense? Or is anybody completely dumbfounded with the things that I'm saying? Anybody shocked at the things that I'm talking about? Let's go on to the Russell. All right. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Sure. All right, so we've triggered the other side. It's a pretty big bar. What was that news? Was that CPI? Yeah, I'm guessing that probably didn't come in as good numbers. Well, all right. Maybe this is turning into trap volume up top above that breakout level, and it's taken 3 days now. First green, inside. They pumped it back up. Maybe this was the signal for a 3-day pump and a dump. Okay, so this is going to be an evolution of the template in my mind. As long as this bar closes this way, and we don't get some weird failed breakout nonsense, garbage, that thesis is going to come into play. We've pumped it back up, peak formation low, pumped it back up over the course of 3 days. Day 1 of the cycle, day 2 of the cycle. Now we're on day 3 of the cycle, maybe going back down towards the low. Things are evolving. This is where that pump began. Looking good. This might have been a really good opportunity for a first bounce. I don't know. Please don't take that. Remember, this is not financial advice. But with that thesis being in play, that might have been a good first bounce opportunity. Going back down to where that pump began, it looks like US 30 is about to complete the pattern. Okay. Russell. Unfortunately, there's really nothing now that I can say about this. Inside day, peak formation. This is the same template, though, as US 30. First red, breakout day 1. Triggers the previous day's low. Then you get an inside day, and then now maybe today's completing the pattern. Day 1, day 2, day 3 of the 3-day cycle, and also day 3 of the week. This was where the pump began. And now we have triggered it. Maybe doing a range expansion. All right, there was one. Somebody asked me, okay, so I'm seeing pound yen, pound dollar. I know there was another one, euro pound. Okay, so let's start with pound yen. It feels weird not having a mustache. I keep forgetting it's not there. Anyways, let's go. Let's start with euro pound. Okay, same style of analysis. Not even analysis, just looking for the template, right? Day 1 of the cycle. How long has this been going up? It hasn't. It's been going down. Last week looks like a first... Where did this open? Here? Hey, last week was a first green week on this, on euro pound, which could mean nothing, but it could just be an indication possibly to look for a buy low template on the following week. They've dumped down the market coming off of previous week's high from up here. Okay. I think that was previous week. Yep. Okay. And then you get a first green day, day 1 of the cycle. Oh, okay. Immediately, this is the first thing that I'm noticing now. You get a first green day, peak formation low was made at the low of the week. Who asked me this? Was this invisible? Or was this, nope. Okay. Peak formation low, peak formation high. That is immediately the template that I would be following. Project these levels across. And then on the day, everything's very simple. I'm looking for higher highs on the day. Essentially, I'm going to look for a squeeze. Higher high, higher low, lower high. I'm looking for parabolic channels and things to start going vertical. So that could or maybe has already happened in the New York set or in the London session, excuse me. Let's go down to a 5-minute chart and take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. So this is criteria based, and this is why I'm making funny noises, because this looks good. You get a higher high to start the New York or the London session, and you can kind of just see the rectangle of trap volume down low, or just the rectangle in general. So this turns into a breakout, higher high, right? They break out, and it starts the pullback here. 3 pushes into the low, 330, perfect timing. And then it goes vertical back up towards the high, higher low. And also, there's that channel. Okay, so maybe we've got, I'm going to be real conservative with this. First mouse, outside of the channel. Stop hunt to the low, scaring everybody, stopping out anybody that was long a little bit too early. And then it immediately rips it. I look like a Walmart Robert De Niro. I don't know how to take that. Anyways, they rip it back up into the channel and then go vertical. Isn't Robert De Niro isn't he pretty old? Really hope that's, hopefully I don't look that old. And then go vertical. So this is the best candle here. I'd say right at, the timing is perfect as well. But the trade may have already took place for whoever asked this. All right. I know you all are here for trading content, not Walmart Robert De Niro, but that was pretty funny. I had to read that. He's 80 plus. Dang, do I look 80 plus? Maybe I should stop putting my face cam up. All right, let's go on. I saw some pound yen pairs. Some questions about those. Okay, this is too much on my screen. It hurts to look at. All right, market go down. We've been going down. How many weeks of breakouts? They triggered previous week's high over here and then dumped it back down into the low. So maybe this is an indication for a dump and a pump on a weekly scale. Then we come down here. We get breakout at the end of the week. 3 days of breakouts. Day 1, day 2, day 3 breakouts. And then we get a inside first green day on Monday. Breakout day 1 on Tuesday. Opening range breakout. And then it's looking like an Asian session trade going vertical. Now this could be, I'm gonna caution you all. Again, never advice, only education. This is one of my 5-star opportunities that I look for. Breakout, 3 sessions on day 3 outside of a breakout. We've had a higher high in place. A lower low in place, peak formation high, peak formation low. My caution is going to be this 3-session setup is a reversal coming off. This is a very fresh reversal and possibly the beginning of a very strong move, kind of like we saw in gold for these past few weeks, where you got this template, but gold is in a very strong range expansion, parabolic, sort of maneuver to the upside. So I'll caution you on that. We do have 3 sessions of breakout, higher high, lower low, and now we have consolidation on the inside, peak 1, peak 2, possibly peak 3, breaking down, lower lows, lower highs. Maybe this is the setup. Maybe it could be. But just be very careful that this is not a strong reversal coming off of multiple weeks of breakouts down. They triggered previous week's high. Maybe we're reaching for, where was it? I think it was really far away, right? But it could be, we could be starting the march back up. That's it right there. The previous week's high from back over here. This could be a strong breakout. You got to be very careful with this one, I would say, if you're searching for a reversal on this. Who asked me this? Invisible. Hey, does that make sense? And you can kind of just see it on the 1-hour chart. Like this looks like maybe a pause for a continuation. Not to say it will. Not to say that's tradable. I'm not to say anything. I'm just saying in general that seems like a probability or a possibility. So I'd be careful. What was the other? There was another yen pair or pound pair that you asked me about. Pound dollar. Good. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. We got breakout week 1 3 weeks ago. And then they triggered the previous week's low, which could be an indication to look for a pump back up for a dump back down. They trade back into the high, and that could have failed. Okay, remember when they trigger previous days or previous week's low, a lot of times they go back to the high before they actually complete the move. It's all part of the scare tactic, all part of the fear. Okay, we've got this move up, 3 peaks to the high, and then maybe starting to break back down. Let's see here. Breakout day 1 was on Thursday, then we got an inside day. This is also a first red day back on Thursday, inside. Okay, Monday's a breakout day as well. Second day of breakouts down. But we didn't break any lower than here. And then we triggered the low. All right, so this triggering of the low, of course, could be, potentially for pump back up for a dump. And now it's gone back to the high. Breakout day 1 outside of a previous day's range could indicate breakout pullback, trend continuation, unless it starts to fail. So I'm going to project this level across, as always. And then let's go down here. Okay, market was making higher highs and higher lows. Man, this is pretty. It sucks that sometimes the news will, you get these absolutely perfect, absolutely beautiful templates. I mean, look at this 3 peaks. Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. Higher high. Lower low. Pullback coming into a session. Starts to break down. New York Open, or not New York Open necessarily, but the news, now going vertical. So this template-wise and criteria-wise, everything was perfect. News-wise, it got ruined, unfortunately. But you can kind of see, at least for future purposes, you know, maybe the breakout is failing. Maybe this is a pump back up for a dump back down. I don't know, but it could be. Maybe we get our first red day, and maybe, you know, the template continues to evolve into something better tomorrow. Everybody good with that? All right, how's everybody doing? I know I've kind of gone through, and hopefully I went through it at a decent pace. We got about 71 of you in here right now, which pretty good. Everybody feel confident going into the session. They know what to look for. A younger De Niro and Raging Bull. Hold on. I typed that in, and these are all pictures of oh, that's not bad. Okay. I'll take that. Okay, it's messing about. Okay. Also remember, Mills, I looked at the news schedule today for everything except for energy. There should probably and likely is oil inventories today. You look like the Transformers guy. Who's the Transformers guy? Hopefully not one of the Transformers. Is it possible to add closing price to your indicator? I'll talk to the developer of it, and I think that'd probably be pretty good. Because right now we've got the opening price on there, which I think is probably just as good in reality. Let's see if I can get it to pop up. Oh, that guy? He's a little shorter than me, but I think he's a lot shorter than me. I'm almost 6'3". All right, let's see if I can get this to pop up here. That's definitely not it. What have I done? Let's see. You can tell that I never put this up there. All right, yeah, I'll talk to him about getting it up there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this has been useful to you. If it has, on your way out, please hit the like button. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I do this every Wednesday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and I have a video coming out every weekend. And I've started doing giveaways. Every video, if you like and subscribe and comment on that video, those comments will get you an entry into the giveaway at the end of the month. I posted a video last Saturday. If you didn't check it out, please do. That would have definitely helped you a lot with this US 30 thesis mindset and trade in general. Hope you'll have a great rest of your day. Have a great trading day. And I'll see you on Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, ready to go. Bye-bye.